Oh my God.
Visit Tombstone and the OK Corral to hear Wild West spirits. We'll visit 1881's awful day on this excursion. In this riveting tale, you'll meet lawmen, outlaws, gunshots, and the epic 30-second duel that turned a mundane livery yard into a symbol of the American frontier. Are you ready? Let's ride. The Untamed West, setting the stage for the OK Corral. Welcome to the wild, untamed heart of the 1880s American West. Let us paint the scene of an infamous shootout that would later become the stuff of legend, the OK Corral. Our journey begins in Tombstone, Arizona, a silver boomtown buzzing with prospectors, cattle rustlers, gamblers, and law enforcement officers, a melting pot of hope and desperation. Tombstone's population of about 14,000 is a gritty metropolis amid the dust and the tumbleweeds. Here, the saloons never close due to the opportunities or the dangers. Imagine the wooden boardwalks, a clatter of horseshoes on rough dirt roads, the buzz of the saloons, and the glint of prospectors' hopes in their eyes. But Tombstone isn't just any frontier town, it's a boiling cauldron of tension. In today's dollars, an estimated $40 to $85 million of silver was pulled from the hills surrounding Tombstone. Money like that attracts more than just honest prospectors. It brings folks with a wild glint in their eyes and a quick hand on the draw. Beneath the wealth and the optimism, a storm brews between two factions: the cowboys, often cattle rustlers and outlaws, and the law enforcement officers bent on maintaining order. These are your typical characters from a dime novel. These are flesh and blood men, each with their own rules and code of the West. So pull your hat brim lower, dear listener, as we venture deeper into the streets of Tombstone, a town teetering on the brink of law and chaos. Please stand by as we lift the veil of time and revisit the day when gun smoke filled the air at the OK Corral. The Untamed West is waiting. Are you ready? The frontier's unlikely heroes and villains. Profiles of the key players. We're on the cusp of the gunfight at the OK Corral, and it's time to meet the cast of characters who found themselves on a collision course with destiny. Let's begin with the Earp brothers Watt, Virgil, and Morgan. These were the law enforcement officers of Tombstone. Next is John Henry Doc Holliday, a dentist by trade and a gambler at heart. But don't let the Doc part fool you. Holliday was a gunslinging sharpshooter with a wickedly fast draw. Tuberculosis drove him west, seeking relief from the disease, but he found trouble instead. On the other side of the coin, we have the cowboys, not quite the romantic figures we might imagine. Leading the crew are the Clanton brothers Ike, Phineas, and Billy, and their pals Tom and Frank McLaury. These weren't cowboys herding cattle. They were alleged rustlers and outlaws wielding considerable influence in Cochise County. Despite their conflicting characters, these men shared something in common. They all lived by the unspoken code of the frontier. The law was loose, life was cheap, and disputes, they were often settled with the business end of a .45 caliber Colt. Each player, with their distinct background, contributed to the volatility that was Tombstone. Their lives were about to clash in a deadly encounter, forever etching their names into the annals of American folklore. Tensions rise, the feud that fueled the fire. In Tombstone, the air was thick with more than just dust. Tension brewing, crackling tension was the unseen force that stalked the streets. It all started with politics and power, the age-old struggle that continues to define humanity's narrative. At the center of it were the Earp brothers and Doc Holliday, on one side with their shiny badges and lofty goals of law and order. On the other side were the cowboys, Clantons, and McLaurys, no strangers to bending the law to their advantage. The two factions, each with their vision for Tombstone, were locked in a feud stoking a deadly blaze. A key moment that turned the feud deadly occurred over stolen U.S. Army mules. The Earps accused the cowboys, a spark that ignited the powder keg of mutual hatred and mistrust. The animosity thickened with each accusation, each sidelong glance, each hand edging towards a holster. And then there was the matter of the cowboys threatening the Earps. Ike Clanton was heard boasting he would kill the Earp brothers. Words in Tombstone, however, were never just words. They were as dangerous as a loaded Colt revolver. The October 26, 1881 events weren't born out of an isolated incident. They resulted from a slow build-up of resentment, suspicion, and raw human emotion. As the sun rose that fateful day, the shadow of the impending conflicts stretched long and dark over the streets of Tombstone. High noon, the moment of confrontation. The day is October 26, 1881. It's a regular afternoon in Tombstone, except it's not. A chilling tension slices through the desert heat. The hours tick by, each one heavy with anticipation. As the town clock points to high noon, destiny nudges our key players towards an infamous rendezvous, the OK Corral. The stage is set. On one side, we have Virgil Watt and Morgan Earp alongside their consumptive yet deadly friend, Doc Holliday. On the other, Frank and Tom McElroy, Billy Clanton, and their brother Ike. 8 men, a powder keg of pent-up aggression, and a town too small for them all. Earlier that day, Ike Clanton had been arrested for making death threats against the Earps, but he's now free, and the Earps learn the cowboys are armed, a violation of city ordinance. The law enforcement officers decide it's time to disarm the cowboys. It's the moment of confrontation, the seconds before the storm. They march down Fremont Street, the click-clack of their boots echoing against the wooden boardwalk, towards a 15-foot-wide lot next to the OK Corral. 4 men awaited them there, hands hovering over their holsters. 30 seconds in hell, the unleashing of deadly firepower. The moment history has been inching towards 30 seconds that will resonate through the ages. The gunfight at the OK Corral is not a drawn-out battle. It's a quick, brutal exchange of lead that leaves the dusty streets of Tombstone forever scarred. At 3 p.m., Virgil Earp, with the weight of the law on his side, steps into the lot. His voice echoes through the alley. "Throw up your hands. I've come to disarm you." But the West isn't one with words. Almost instantaneously, the air erupts with the deafening roars of gunfire. It's a cacophony of chaos as bullets whiz through the narrow lot, bouncing off walls and finding their mark in human flesh. 30 shots, they say, were fired that day. Each one contributes to the uproar and unleashes hell on earth. Wyatt Earp stands steadfast amidst the chaos, his gun bearing retorts to the cowboys' defiance. Doc Holliday, cold and lethal, wields a shotgun with deadly accuracy. The cowboys return fire, but the odds are against them. In those 30 seconds, time seems to warp, each tick of the clock echoing with gunshots, shouts, and the grim symphony of a deadly dance. It's brutal, it's swift, and it's the West at its wildest. The gun smoke eventually settles, revealing the harsh reality of the confrontation. The echoes of the gunshots might have faded, but the repercussions of this gunfight are far from over. Aftermath, the toll of the deadliest gunfight. The gunfire has ceased and the echoes have subsided, but the impact is just beginning to sink in. The dust of the OK Corral is stained with blood and tragedy. In the span of a mere half-minute, 3 men lie dead and others are wounded. Billy Clanton and both McElroy brothers, Tom and Frank, have met their violent end in the grim dance of the gunfight. However wild and controversial, their lives were snuffed out in the raw brutality of the Old West. Ike Clanton and Billy Claiborne, lucky or cowardly, managed to escape the deadly hail of bullets. Virgil and Morgan Earp are both injured on the law enforcement officer's side, while Doc Holliday has a minor wound. Tombstone is shaken to its core, the bloody spectacle a grim reminder of their lawless world. The frontier town where dreams of prosperity once reigned is now a stage for mortality's grim theater. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across Tombstone, the day's events are etched into its legacy. The OK Corral, a once obscure livery and horse corral, has transformed into the heart of the Wild West. The aftermath of this legendary shootout is a turning point, a tangible shift in the narrative of the Old West. Before you holster your mouse, fire off a like, subscribe, and let your thoughts blaze a trail in our comments section. Let's keep the spirit of the Wild West alive with conversation and curiosity. Remember, every legend begins with a story and thrives with an engaged audience. Until the next ride, stay curious, partner.